Hello everyone, this is Tim with Online Big Blue bringing you the best in New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. Well, we didn't do a show yesterday because honestly, it was another nice day. So we were out on the bike, we were having a good time. So we're going to catch up today with some news, some rumors, some speculation, and who should be at the center of the Giants' attention in the later rounds of the NFL draft. First, let's address the Detroit rumors. We've heard the Detroit rumors now mumbling and rumbling for about a week or two now. I mean, this isn't something that has really, it isn't something that has come out of left field. There was always talk that potentially the Lions would want to move out of their spot, and how that might screw up the Giants' chances for moving down. But honestly, I feel that if Detroit decides to trade their pick, that does nothing but bolster the Giants to potentially getting any choice of any pick of any player that they want. I mean, I still have some. I'm still hearing rumblings that the Redskins are going to go Andrew Thomas. And like I said, we're still weeks out, so this is all just speculation, misdirection, smoke screens. But there is a potential possibility for a certain defensive end to slip to the Giants at 4. There may be an opportunity where we might have to choose between a linebacker or a defensive end or an offensive lineman. So, do I think the Detroit rumors are true? And also there could be a cornerback we could have to potentially consider taking, because more than likely, if someone's trading up to 3, they're going to take a quarterback. So it would be an interesting proposition if they did make the move. I personally do not think the Lions will make a move. I think the Lions are going to stay where they're at. I think this is, again, a lot of conjecture, a lot of smoke screens. It's the draft. I mean, how many major draft trades have we heard about over the last 15 years that never materialized? Or the surprise picks that come out of the draft. Some player out of left field that you never would have speculated on. So I'm thinking Detroit's keeping their pick. I don't see them going. I don't see them passing up the opportunity. There are too many impact. This is a very deep draft. And it's a very deep draft in reference to starter talent. But I will say this in reference to what you would probably consider, all pro talent. Maybe in the first 7 picks, I would say. So unless Detroit is going to fall out of the top 10, I don't see them making the trade unless they get a king's ransom, unless Miami comes up and hits them with all 3 of their first-round draft choices or something crazy like that. I see a lot of people like, well, on the draft card, that's 450 points. And I've said it a million times. I spoke to a gentleman years ago who was he worked in player personnel, and he said the draft chart is more for ESPN and the fans. If an NFL franchise wants a player, sees the value in the player, they're not going to go off the draft card. They are going to give that other team what they need to get that player, as long as it's not detrimental to the franchise. And that's just the way it is. So with everyone all worried about Detroit, if anything, I think if Detroit makes a trade, we're in much better shape and staying at that 4 spot, because we could have a choice of impact defensive players if we decide to go that direction. Now, speaking of the draft, we have holes on the offensive line. And we have been trying to figure out, everyone's trying to figure out what Gettleman's doing. And honestly, we're not going to know, because I wouldn't be shocked if Gettleman went wide receiver at 4 because of his draft history. But we were thinking that, we are still going to need a center in regards to whether it's a backup center or if it's a starting center, because everyone has their faith in 27-year-old Spencer Pulley at 6'4", 308 pounds out of Vanderbilt. I mean, he hasn't really started a full season since 2017, where he really had to start at center because the Chargers had two suspended players, or one suspended player, and one of the guys he moved over, I think, he moved over to the left guard position. He started all 16 games at center. And again, they felt San Diego then, they felt so highly of Pulley's talents, they released him on September 1st, 2018. So then again, he went and picked up, on the 2nd, he was claimed by the Giants. That year, he started at guard at week 5, took over at center at week 7 after moving. He took over at week 7. So, and then was a starter for like 9 games after that. So, I mean, it's at 25 games plays, he started 25. So he does have a resume of starting. He started a little more than half the games he was able to play in outside of injuries. But we're relying too much on the fact that Spencer is going to be the guy. And that worries me. Because what if Spencer does not turn out to be the guy? If anyone ever watched the old TV show Spencer for Hire, I still love the Avery Brooks who plays the character Hawk. And because I always think, every time I think of Spencer Fuller, I think of that show because I think, Spencer. So, but I don't know. Looking at the draft, I think even going the second round, we are not going to go center. We might go offensive lineman, but it's not going to be a center. So you got to think later in the draft. Now, like I said, Cesar Ruiz is some player that I would love to see at 6'4", 319 pounds, but he's not going to be there after the second round. I mean, he's a powerful guy. He's athletic. He's got versatility. He can play out through the line. He's very mobile for a guy his size. He has excellent body control. I mean, I think he's going to be an excellent interior lineman. He's got to probably drop some weight. So, if he's going to play in the NFL, because you go against a speed rusher, you go against someone with a quick step, he's going to get blown by. But like I said, he's got a nice blend of size, power, and mobility. And he's got technique. He really does. He's a technically sound interior lineman. I could see him going late first round, early second. So, like I said, he's going to probably be off the board. And I love it again because people are like, well, he's got short arms. Yeah, you're in the center position. Who cares how long your arms are? So, I mean, that's... I never understood that. So I'm thinking later in the draft, who could we be looking at? And we've mentioned this guy before, and he's, I would not say he is a household name, and he's a little bit on the small side, and that's Washington's Nick Harris. 6'1", 293 pounds. He's a senior. He's coming out as a senior. He's probably going to be available in the 4th or 5th round. But he is a smart guy. He's a 3-year starter, and he's got experience at both guard and center. And he's also powerful. He's not a soft player. He's more of a positional blocker in the run game, but that's fine. In his pass blocking, you gotta love his ability, the way he slides his feet and the way he stays squared. I mean, that's something that a lot of players lack. He's great playing in space. He can seal the lanes wonderfully. He's got, for a guy, and like I said, he's not huge, but for a guy his size, he's got impressive foot speed. And he's got some mobility. I mean, again, he's a short guy, and that's one of the red flags people go, he's a short guy. But he's got over 40 games of starting experience in college at both the guard and center. He's someone that we could pick up, later in the 4th or 5th round, and if Spencer Pulley is not, needs to shift someplace off to the line because Cam Fleming's not going to handle it, or can handle it, then we got a guy that I think that we can get later in the draft that could handle it. It's just we need to start shoring up positions. They always say bad teams are looking for starters on players who should just be depth. And I don't want the Giants to be that type of bad team that we're taking depth guys and hopefully they're going to be starters. And I'm hoping, and like I said, I'm not saying Spencer Pulley is a depth guy because like I said, he did start 25 games. But he's only had that one full season of starting. So the question is, can he fill that position, and who's going to fill the position behind him? Like I said, if we're looking at for a 4th or 5th round pick that has some ability, I am going Nick Harris, center or interior lineman out of Washington. I think that's a direction we're going to go into. And again, I'd like to thank everyone for listening. If you could leave a like or subscribe or leave a comment, that would be fantastic. We're going to be doing some more videos this weekend, so we'll have some great content coming out next week. And again, this is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best in New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. And as always, we appreciate and we thank you for listening.